When people don't know what you've been through, they don't understand your praise. When they don't know what you have sacrificed, those late nights when you wanted to quit, I'm talking to somebody, those times when you were crying saying, I can't make it, you have a reason to celebrate. And let me tell you, with everybody trying to stop your shine, you cannot be stopped. And I'm going to quote the famous lines of the ubiquitous Sean P. Diddy Combs, can't stop, won't stop. Whoever.
Hello, one and all. Happy show night. Yes, happy to see everybody here tonight. It is officially another show night on the Unstoppable Live program. Now, listen. Honestly, I couldn't wait for tonight for come. Because I feel like, say, them show ya take too long for come around. You know when time you have one show, then you have to wait a day, then the show come back the next day, and then we have to wait again the next. I feel like I'm missing the show too much. Am I the only one? Somebody talk to me in the comments. Am I the only one? Lottie Rona say yes, we have to wait too long. Am I and Lottie alone? Somebody talk to me. I'm feeling like the show is taking too long. Like the time I take long for roll around. And you know when it hurts the most? When a Friday night. You understand? I have to wait on Monday again. Boy, may I tell you. But anyhow, I'm glad to see everybody here tonight. I am totally happy to see everyone here tonight. It is Wednesday, the 21st. All right? So listen, people. Listen. We have to be grateful tonight because we are alive, right? Yes, definitely. Have to be grateful because we are alive, and that is more than enough reason to be grateful. So welcome everybody who is here tonight, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube. I want to say a pleasant good night to you all, and we're going to jump into a conversation tonight. As you all know already, this show never lame yet. So if you are here right now, make sure that you invite a friend to tonight's show. If you haven't done so already, hit the like button. Invite a friend by sharing out the show to WhatsApp. Yes, there is that feature. All you have to do is hit share. And when you hit share, you just send it to a contact. All right? And say, listen, come check out this show. It is called Unstoppable Live. And this is where they talk about real life issues. Not no made up stories. Real life issues that people can relate to. All right? Listen me. So, who invite somebody already? If you're up on Facebook, share it out to some groups for me. I would appreciate that. All right? Share it to your profile. And I have to big up Trev. Because Trev, every show night, Trev share out the show up on Facebook and say, hey, if you don't follow me, you better come in or come follow me, go over Unstoppable. Because I'm going to listen to Unstoppable tonight. So big up to Trev. And by the way, let's wish Trev a happy belated birthday because yesterday was Trev Unstoppable's birthday. So everybody start sending some happy belated birthday. Heck, say happy birthday to Trev. Yes, all right. I want to also big up Sylvia from the Bahamas and our daughter, because I'm getting to understand that mothers and daughters locked into this show here every single show night, you know. Yes, big up to Tamika Lindsay. Tamika called me today and said, Unstoppable, listen me, my mother introduced me to your show and now I'm hooked. Unstoppable, me love it, right? I want to also big up Mama Mega. Me hear say Mama Mega is tuned into the show as well at night time and get hooked. Now Mama Mega is Kimon Unstoppable's mother. So Mama Mega, big up yourself. Jump in at the comment section, make the people them big you up. Alright? Yes. With that said, let's roll on over to see what tonight's topic is all about. Because boy, people, me I tell you. So tonight's topic. People, tonight's topic says, my husband tried several times to take my life. And this is a true story. People, are you all ready for this one tonight? Because I have the caller on the line and she is going to be sharing her experience with us tonight. But before I introduce the caller to tonight's show, remember the rules of this platform. You do not disrespect my caller. You do not call my caller fool, dummy, jackass, idiot, yamed, nothing of the sort, or else you will be blocked by one of my beautiful moderators tonight. Alright? You are free to interact with each other in the comment section. You are free to mingle, share your opinion, but share it in a respectful manner. Alright? So we are going to welcome the caller to tonight's show. Caller, are you with us?
I am unstoppable. How are you?
That is great. I am awesome, you know. I can't complain.
Good.
So I'm aware that you have a topic that you want to share with us tonight.
Yes.
It sounds as if it's going to be an emotional one, is it?
Yeah, I'm afraid so. I'm afraid so. You've already got me going and I haven't started yet.
Wow. All right, so I'm going to give you the platform. I'm going to give you the platform to...
Sorry, you're breaking up.
You can hear me, right?
Yeah, you keep breaking up. You're in and out.
We can hear you clearly. I'm going to give you the platform so that you can share your experience with us. But 30 minutes within the show, we're going to take a little water break so you can fresh up your throat and come back to us, all right?
Okay, thank you.
Go right ahead.
Good evening, listeners. I just want to share my story with you, and I'm just praying really that I can get to the end of it okay. Everything I'm going to say to you is what really happened to me from the age of about 20, 21. So I grew up in a Christian home. I grew up in a very loving Christian home with great parents who were devout Christians. And from a very young age, we were made to go to Sunday school. And funny enough, for a very young age, I knew that church was a place I wanted to be at. And I loved going to church from a very young age, and being in church for so long from such a young age. Growing up as a youth in the church, you get to know everybody, you know, the pastor's children, the deacon's children, and everyone just gets along. So I spent most of my youth really growing up around the church family. And I had a great teenage life, great youth growing up, and had no problems at all at home or anything like that. One day, one of the deacon's nephews came to stay, and he was planning to be working on a building site in London, where I'm from, working on a building site with his nephew. So he came to live with his uncle, who attended my church. He was a deacon at my church. And so over the 3 years that he was there for about 5 years. But for the first 3 years, he just was really another member of the youth. He was a musician. I grew up as one of the singers, worship team leader in the choir and all of that sort of thing from a very young age. So we were part of the church family. So when I was about 17, myself and this young man who was 21 at the time started talking, and we started getting closer, and we were really friendly. By then I've known him from about the age of 14, and I know his family very well. His cousins are very close to me. So and he's such a charming young man, very friendly. very kind. He was like that with everybody. There was no signs of him being off at all with anyone, and everybody loved him. And eventually, when I was we dated for about 3 years in the end, and when I was age 20, he went to see my parents and he asked them for my hand in marriage. And my parents are very close to his parents through the church and things like that, through, close to his uncle, not to his parents. And he asked my parents' hand in marriage. And after a long discussion, they agreed because they knew him very well, and we got engaged. So through the engagement, now we went to purchase a house, and because he was from the north of England, we decided to purchase north, and it's purchased a house together in the north, and planned to marry the year after. So we purchased the house in 1989 with the plan to marry in 1990. I managed to find a job as well in that area. So before we got married, I actually moved into the house we bought while he stayed with his parents, who were just down the road, and I started to work there before I got married. So, but one day when I came from work, this is why we were still engaged. When I came from work, I don't know what had upset him, because he came over from work at the time, but an argument ensued, and I can't remember exactly what the argument was about, but I remember being upstairs and he smashed a mirror that was on my bed at the time, and then proceeded to twist my arm. So I was saying to him, "What is the matter with you?" And I was like, "What is the matter with you? What's the problem?" And then he started to rant and rave. So I decided just to leave the house, because this is totally out of character to this person that I know. So I left the house and I went around just to cool off, really. And then I actually decided, because my arm was actually swelling, so I actually went to the hospital just to get it checked out. But I didn't think it was anything serious. I just wanted to make sure. But they did end up bandaging it, and I went home. So when I got home now, he was still there crying and very, very apologetic. So I'm saying, "What is wrong with you?" And he said, "I don't know. I just blanked out. I'm just something. I think it was something related to work." And he said he didn't realize that he'd done that, and he just blanked out. So I'm saying, well, I did say at the time, this is not acceptable. This is really strange. And I don't know what it is. Whatever it is, sort out your heads, whatever it is going on. And I know we had the pressure on and planning the wedding. So I think in myself, I probably just excused it as well as being that, and made what I shouldn't have done was an excuse for him. So anyway, now nothing happened. This happened towards the end of 1989, and we got married in July 99, and the wedding was brilliant. Everything went well. Everybody was happy. We had a coachload of people from his area to come to London, and everything was brilliant. And then we continued as a married couple now. He's a musician in the church up in the north, and I'm still one of the singers. From a very young age, I used to also teach Sunday school, so I got involved, very much involved within the church.
My first question, I have a first question.
Sorry?
I have a question for you. So,
yeah.
How long were you dating this person for before you got married? Because I know you say you met him in the church, but how long were you dating for?
Yes. 3 years.
So you were actually dating him for 3 years before you decided to get married to him?
Yeah.
And was
3 years, yeah.
Was there any signs that he is an abusive type of man before this happened?
None at all. Nothing whatsoever.
So
nothing at all.
So at the point when him ring your hand, there was no arguing, there was no disagreement, there was nothing at all, and him just ring up and twist up your hand for no reason?
There was a disagreement. I can't remember exactly what it was about, but there was a disagreement over something. I can't really remember what it was about, and that was the result. And he broke the mirror and then twisted my arm.
Okay, all right, continue.
Yeah. So anyway, so we continued in the church. He continued as a musician. He's come from a family of musicians, so most of them play some kind of instrument or sing. So at the end, anyway, we got married in the 1990, July 1990, and towards the end of the, and I must add on this point that being a young couple, this man loves sex. I mean, sex very often, and that to me wasn't a surprise or wasn't so much a problem or anything like that. We're a young married couple, and to me that didn't seem out of the ordinary. It was just it's just what I suppose honeymoon people do. So it wasn't a problem for me. It wasn't any way that I would have a problem with that. So it's not like I would refuse him or anything like that. But towards the end of the year, I got pregnant, and it was a planned pregnancy. And I got pregnant, and he was very attentive, very good, made sure that my stomach was fully cocoa buttered every day, so I didn't have any pregnancy stretch marks or anything like that, and everything was good. And when I went on maternity leave, he took on another job to ensure that everything will still be covered and everything like that. And I gave birth to my son in September 91. And he was a big baby for a first baby, 8 pounds 9. And the labor was about 7 hours, and everything was okay. But the baby was getting distressed towards the end of the labor. So what they had to do was where they actually cut me for me to deliver. So when that happened, now during the labor, the baby was distressed, and I think they call it meconian aspiration, and he was distressed and excreted in the water and had swallowed that back. So it caused some kind of lung infection in the baby before he was born. So when he was born, now they had to cut me to deliver. And I had to stay in the hospital for about 10 days while the baby was in neonatal. And I remember everything was brilliant. He was the best father ever. He came in, helped me out. He did all the sterilizing of bottles if I needed it, and looked after the baby while I was in the hospital. Everything was brilliant, nothing to complain about at all. When I went home after the delivery, after 10 days in the hospital, I was shocked and angered to find out that my husband wanted sex immediately. Now I've just had stitches, and I've just given birth to this baby, this big baby for a first baby, and this husband of mine wants sex. I'm saying, I shouldn't have to explain to you. You were there to see what I went through. It's not like I'm unduly refusing you. It just can't happen at the moment. I remember on one of the midwife visits, because for the first few days that when you're at home, they come and visit you regularly. And one time the GP actually came with the midwife, and I was with them on my own. And I said to the GP, please prescribe me some pills because I don't want to get pregnant. And I remember that the midwife laughed at me, but she didn't know what I was going through. And I remember the midwife laughed at me, and the GP said, don't laugh at her. She knows why she's asking. And he prescribed the pills for me, because I'm thinking, when you give birth, you're so much more able to get pregnant really quickly. So I decided to take these low dose pills because I'm breastfeeding. And anyway, every single night, it's the pressure to have sex. In the end, my husband just took it. And the amount of pain that I suffered, I just can't even describe the pain that I went through. For those of you who've been through labor and birth and had to have stitches, I'm sure you can understand. And life just went on, and I don't even know why.
What do you mean?
It just numbed me.
What do you mean by in the end he just took it? So how long after giving birth did he finally just take it without your consent?
I was on about 2 days, so I'd given birth about 12 days then.
So 12 days after, him just decides to, yeah, I'm gonna take it, even though you just have a baby.
Yeah, I was in hospital 10 days, and then about the second day in, he started from the day I went home. And then 2 days in, when he wasn't getting it, I said, it's not that I can't even do that, you know. So he just took it. He just did his own thing. You know, so that's the start really of the misery. Anyway, my son started to get sick from about the age of 3 months, and it wasn't anything to do with what happened in the labor. He had some congenital disease or infection or something that I wasn't aware at the time until till later on. By this time, I had got pregnant with my second child. So my son, when he was 4 months old, I was already pregnant with my second child through what my husband was doing. And the low dose pills that I was taking didn't work. And I'm not surprised that they didn't work really, because they would be that it may not. And I was about pregnant by the time my son was about 4 months. But I'm spending a lot of time in the hospital because my son is getting abscesses in the neck and they have to be drained. And then he stays in for a few days for clearance and they test him and they can't find anything wrong with him. Eventually, at the age of 11 months, my son died. He passed away. He passed away from they didn't know at the time what he passed away from, but I remember them doing blood transfusions and things like that, and he was in the hospital for a good couple of weeks before he passed away. And that was really traumatic because at this time I'm 10 weeks due to have my second child. So he passed away in the August 1992, and I was due to give birth the October 1992. So when my son passed away and we were planning the funeral, I was totally blocked out of the plans. I was saying to my husband, I would like this in the coffin. I would like this coffin. I would like this to be done. And it and his family up on me. I couldn't get any request that I wanted. There was no empathy, no nothing. There was nothing. And even when they said that my son wasn't going to make it in the hospital, I remember he ran out and left me at the hospital pregnant. And if my parents weren't there with me at the time, they'd been visiting from London, then I would have been the only one there on my own when my son passed away. But anyway, now I've buried my son, and 10 weeks later, I've given birth to my daughter. And my daughter was well and fine, no problems. I only stayed a couple of days in the hospital and I went home. And the same thing again, although I didn't suffer with the stitching issues like I did with my first child, it's still a delivery. So I'm gone home 2 days and I'm going through the same thing. This man wants sex every minute. And I'm trying to listen, I've just had a baby. I need my body to heal. This man is not hearing any. His needs have to be met. So I remember when my daughter was about 5 months old, there was some incident. I just remembered, I can see it in my head now, that my daughter was sitting on the bed about 5 to 6 months old. And I remember that I believe that at that time he wanted sex. I'm sure of it now. He wanted sex at that time. And I'm saying, no, because I need to get the baby ready for bed and whatever. Let's deal with that later. He's not hearing nothing. This man threw me on the bed. My daughter's on the bed. This man threw me on the bed and put all of his weight on top of me. And then he took a pillow that was on the bed and started to push it against my face. And I struggled and I struggled and I struggled. And it so happened that my head managed to lodge between the headboard and I managed, where I turned my head, I managed to find an air pocket. And I remember, oh my God, I can breathe. I've got this air pocket where I can breathe. And this man is pushing with all his force. I'm about 150 pounds. I'm not that heavy. And he's about 200 odd pounds. And and I'm feeling the weight on my chest, but I found this air pocket so I can breathe. And from the time I knew I could breathe, I stopped struggling. And I think that this man must have thought I was dead, because he got up and he took the pillow off of my face and I jumped up. I jumped up to try to run and get my daughter off the bed, and this man caught me and stopped me and then slammed me on the floor and proceeded to strangle me. And when he was strangling me, he was saying, now you can be with, mentioning my dead son's name. Now you can be with. And this man had his hands around my neck, strangling the life out of me. And I remember praying in my head, because I've always been a praying woman. And I remember praying in my head, and I can see it right now, what I was going through. And I remember praying in my head, oh my God. But then I remember, I just felt like the breath was going and I just relaxed. And as soon as I relaxed again, this man got up. And I tried to get my daughter again, couldn't get my daughter, and I ran out of the room. This time I didn't even jump on the phone to call the police. I'm numb, I'm just in shock. I have no idea what has gone on. I'm in total shock. I don't even know where I slept that night. I don't know. I just can't even think about what happened. I remember going back upstairs to try and get my daughter. I need to get my daughter to bed. I need to get my daughter with me. He will not allow me in the bedroom. And he's kept my daughter from me the whole night. Every now and again, I'm walking upstairs to listen at the door. I can't hear. She sounds like she's all right. And I've not done anything. I've not called the police. I've not done anything. And I'll tell you why later. And I don't even remember where I slept, but I remember being in the house, and the next morning, he is so apologetic. He don't know what happened. I said, what happened? He don't know what happened. He blanked out. He don't remember nothing. I said, you've got to remember, because if you don't remember, that means you could just attack anyone on the road and you're going to say you don't remember. You have to remember what you're doing. So he's saying that he doesn't remember, and he's crying and he's apologetic and everything. I said to him,
but this is the second time, right? This is the second time he is giving you that excuse, right? He doesn't remember and he is sorry.
This is the second. Yeah. He says this is the second time. He says he's blank out and he can't remember. So I insisted that I said, listen, something's got to be wrong with you, because at the end of the day, it's not normal, your behavior. You see me, I thought, well, this man must be suffering with grief or something. And I'm thinking, well, how could he be suffering with grief? And I'm also grieving for my child as well. So I think I made excuses for him, to be honest. And I made him tell his father-in-law. So my father-in-law came round that day, and I said, explain to your dad what you did. And he explained to his dad what he did. And this is when I knew I haven't got any help anywhere. He says to me, my father-in-law says to me, what are you going to do about it? In other words, are you going to call the police on my son, or are you going to leave my son? And then I said, I'm not going to do anything at this stage about it, but he needs to change his behavior. And then he says to me, you must know what you have done for him to do that to you. I was gobsmacked, absolutely gobsmacked. He said, I must know what I've done. So from then, all respect for my father-in-law is gone, because I'm thinking, what is the matter with these people? So anyway, now I said to him, find out if something's wrong with your head. So he agreed, and he was cooperative, and we went to the GP, and I said, explain what you're doing. And then he explained what he was doing, and the doctor basically said to him, you need to learn to behave yourself and have some self-control, because there's nothing wrong with you. You need to behave yourself. That's basically what the doctor said. And I said, there's something you must be able to do to calm this man down. How is he blanking out? The doctor prescribed him some pills. He took them for a few days. They calmed him down all right. But he didn't like the way they made him feel, because during the time he's taking these pills, I'm not getting any pressure for sex. I'm not getting anything like that. No problems. This man is just quiet, like a zombie. So I don't know if they were psychotic drugs or whatever, but he didn't like the way they make him feel, so he stops taking them. So between this time now, between 1993 and 1996, when my daughter, I've had to leave several times, because I went through so much physical, emotional, verbal abuse and such degrading treatment that, I decided one day that I'm going to leave. And what prompted that? One night after an argument, this is about 11 o'clock at night, I'm paying the mortgage because this man hasn't really got proper work at the moment. He's working on and off. I'm the full-time worker, right? Even though, I've just had a baby, I'm on maternity leave, but I'm still paying the mortgage. So this man now locks me out of the house after an argument and deadlocks the door. I don't have my key. I don't have my phone. I have nothing. So I'm ringing the bell to try and get in. I'm trying to do everything to get in. This man's locked me out my own house, basically. I know we jointly own it, but I'm paying the mortgage here, and my child is inside. So the only thing I did, I don't even know why I didn't go to the police at that stage, because I didn't. I got on the night bus. I got on the bus. I went to the local A&E department, and I sat there all night in the local A&E department just to have somewhere safe to stay, and rode the bus back home 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. in the morning in order to get back in my house. And he's done that more than once. So that happened to me more than once. And I've had to break the glass of the door when he's not let me in, so I can undo the deadlock and get in, because I need to see my child. I need to know what's going on. I also need to go to work, because this time I'd also been back at work. And another incident that happened. I was at his
Before
parents' house one day.
Hold on a minute. Before you
Yeah,
get to
sorry.
the other incident, because this is a couple
Mm.
incidents so far that you've explained. And I know you
Yeah.
said the first one you didn't contact the police or anything like that. Why?
Yeah.
All right, the first one, let's just say you make the first one slide. But why the second
Yeah.
time you didn't contact the police? Why the third time you didn't contact the police? And why? But before you answer that, think about it for a minute.
I cannot answer.
We're at the 30-minute
right.
mark. Take a little water break, and I'm going to come back to you and talk to you about that because I want to know why. So take your little water break for a second. And in the meantime, I'm going to say welcome to every single person that's here. If you're here for the very first time, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, welcome to the Unstoppable Live show. And if you haven't shared the show yet, please share out the show right now. That would be appreciated. All right. Also, I want to say to the people them say, listen me over by YouTube, Jamaica YouTube TV. Now they are telling us hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button in the comment tonight. But I'm seeing a few persons reminding you to touch that like button. So far we have over 700, close to 800 people and only 200 likes. That not really sound right? All right, so do that for me then. And I want to say thank you to the persons who have contributed to the show so far. I want to say Roxanne Unstoppable, thank you so much for your contribution earlier. And Leah K also sent in a contribution to PayPal, Cash App, thank you so much. And Foreign TTB, thank you for your PayPal contribution, my general, every single time. Blessings. And over here on YouTube, who contributed via Super Chat so far, I want to say thank you to Lady B Unstoppable, Euphemia Spencer, Nika Sinclair, Altia Williams, Taz Tizzle, blessings Taz, Kerisha McLean, Skillarchi Unstoppable, and we have a new official member signed up tonight and got the badge beside her name. Lorian Plunkett is rocking her newcomer badge, so big up to Lorian. All right, so Carla, have you? Well, actually, me not gonna say if you drink your water yet, but we actually heard you swallow a while ago. But Carla, are you ready for us again?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Awesome. Continue. Let's pick up. Now,
So you was asking me why I didn't call the police.
right. Why didn't you contact the police?
I don't have an answer for you, Unstoppable. I really don't have an answer. I have no idea why I didn't call the police at that time. I really didn't have any idea, but I can answer why I didn't call the police after I did call the police. I can answer that one later on, but at the time I didn't. I didn't call the police, and I don't have an answer for that.
Well, don't worry about that right now. Get to that when you get to that. Continue.
Yeah. Okay, so I just mentioned about being locked out of the house. Anyway, there was an incident where I was at his parents' house one day, and I had a car accident, and I had a courtesy car, and he didn't have a car at the time, and he wanted the car keys. And I was there with my daughter. My daughter was actually in the hands of her granddad, and he wanted the car keys. And I was saying that I can't give you the car keys because I'm about to go and I've got a few things to do and I've got the baby with me. He decides he wants the car keys, and he boxed me in the face right in front of his father. His brother was there. And got vexed with him, and they started to fight. Him and his brother started to fight. Now, up to now, my father-in-law has even stood up or said anything about what he's done, but the brother got crazy and started to fight with him. I took the opportunity and I slid out of the house, and I knew I weren't going home that day, and I went down to a hotel that I was familiar with when I used to visit the north, and I went and checked in the hotel, and I checked in the hotel under an alias. And the mistake I made is that I didn't hide my car at the back of the car park. It's a mistake, but then it might not have been a mistake, to be honest, if I tell you what happened. I parked my car at the front, not at the back, and it was the courtesy car. And I went in the hotel, checked in with an alias, and I managed to get a room, and me and my daughter were fine. We was on about the 5th floor or even higher up, and we were fine. And that night was brilliant. And the next day I wanted to extend the stay, but they told me that they didn't have that the room was booked out, and the hotel was full, so I had to leave that day. So when I was coming down to check out, through the lobby now, I see my husband standing there, rushed me and snatched the baby. He snatched my daughter out of my hands and drove off. And I think he had his dad's car, if I remember right. He drove off with my baby. So now I'm forced to go home because I'm not going to leave my daughter. I rang the police at this stage and they told me that they do not get involved with domestics. Do you think your husband is a risk to your daughter? No, I don't think he is, but he has been violent to me. They say they don't get involved with domestics as long as I think the child is okay. And to be honest, I got that throughout my marriage, and I will explain that at the end, really, at some of the things I've been through with the police. But yeah, so they don't come out to domestics. That was how it was them days where where I come from in England. That was like that in those days, and it's not like that now.
Oh, because I just
when
was wondering how long ago this
sorry,
was. What year? Because I mean, what year was it when the police didn't
this is
normally
in the
get in?
90s.
Well,
In the 90s, they never come out for domestic when you called them. The law came out in April 2004, so they never came out before that for domestics, unless it was a breach of the peace.
I learned something new
Yeah,
tonight.
unless it was a breach of the peace, they wouldn't come out in those days. The police failed me a lot during those days. But yeah, so I was forced to go home. So I left the hotel now because I'm not leaving my child, and I've gone home. That's forced me home. I would have probably checked into another hotel that I know if he wasn't there. So I don't know if he had stayed outside all night waiting for me, more than likely. And he more than likely would have went in asking for my name. And because I've checked in with an alias, he couldn't locate my room or didn't think I was there, even though he knew the car was there. So, and then again, I'm thinking in hindsight, if I parked at the back, he probably would have attacked me even worse, but I was parked at the front. So some things happen for a reason, I suppose. And during this time now, after this incident, I did go home and I started to plan to leave. And it's difficult when you have a job and you're paying a mortgage and everything like that. It's difficult just to get up and go. That's how I felt anyway. And I'm still a young woman. So anyway, I decided to leave. So one day when he went to work, I had planned to leave at 6 o'clock in the morning and go to the coach station. This time I wasn't driving yet. Go to the coach station. Well, I was driving, but I didn't have a car at the time. I decided to go to the coach station and go to London. My family are in London. That time, my parents had already immigrated. When my daughter was born, they immigrated, so they weren't around. But I had a sister there, and I went to London, and then to stay with her. But I hadn't really told her what was going on. I just said I'm coming to stay over, and I came. And the very next day, that man drove down to London, straight to my sister's, took my child and went again. So I have to go now back on the coach on my own because I have to be where my child is. So this started to be a pattern of snatching the child because he's realized now that when he has the child, I'm not going to stay away from where my children are. Anyway, when I went back now, obviously, well, it's not obvious, but I was subjected to so much abuse. One night, that man, because so you want to leave? So you want to leave? He held a blanket around my head and raped me with the blanket tight around my head. I could barely breathe. I could barely move. And what he had was, because he's got me on the bed with my face down, and he's got his hand on the back of my neck with this blanket on me, and he's raping me. And I don't even know. And you get to a stage, remember, I'm still going to church. He is still the musician in the church. I'm still one of the singers in the church. We go to church. This family looks normal. His family looks normal, and I'll explain that later. But I'm still going to church, and no one knows I'm going through this thing. And I don't see anyone in the church that I can talk to about anything. I don't have many friends other than the ones I have in the church, and I'm not going to discuss it with people at work at that stage. And this happened, and what happened after that was incidences where he would beat me with a belt. One day he beat me so much with a belt I just passed out. and I've passed out. And one time he started to proceed to cutting my clothes off with the scissors. The man turned around to me one day and said it turns him on to see me scared. And this is what I'm living with, and I can't tell anyone. And I remember when he went out, I called the police again. And I'm calling the police station's name simply because I think they're a disgrace. It's Acox Green, and they did nothing. They said that anything to do with you and your husband, as long as it's not disturbing their peace, they are not coming out. And all I can do is pray. And I'm still someone who prays, and I'm still someone who trusts God. I went to leave again because I have to plan these things, because I have to make my work know that I need to take emergency leave or whatever. I need to let them know, because I have to still be earning money to pay my mortgage. Because if I mess up my credit and I'm leaving eventually, my mind is I need to be able to get my own place. And that's what my thinking was at the time. I left to London a second time, and I didn't say too much with my sister again. And I said to her, we just had a massive argument. I didn't tell her what I'm going through. And I stayed there for a couple of weeks. I think I was there, or it might have been just a week. A couple of days after being there, she was up early. I put my daughter and my nephew, and she said, he is dressed in black, and he has got this car that I don't recognize, and it's pushed up to the doors of the flats where she lived. She lived on the ground floor. This is pushed up to the doors of the flat, and he's dressed in black, and he's walking around the building. The next thing we heard is this noise. He jumped on her balcony and was trying to get in the balcony, telling me, you come out here, I'm going to kill you. You better come out here. I am going to kill you. If you don't come out here, I'm going to come in there and kill you. I was in a frenzy. I tell you no lie. I called the police. Now this is the London police I'm calling. I got the same message from the London Metropolitan Police, and this was in the 90s. And they said to me, we can't come out. It's domestic, as long as it's not a breach of the peace. All right. So what? This man is jumping up and down, prancing around the building, shouting and trying to get. He's on the balcony 1 minute, then he jumps off. He's trying to go around the other side, looking through her window, and I'm going frantic. I said to my sister, I'm going to go outside. I'm going to go outside because I don't want nothing to happen to you lot. Just make sure my daughter's all right. I'm going to go outside so that it doesn't stress you.
Listen, so
yeah,
the police saying they can't come out for domestic, right? Fine. Let's just say that's that's what they said. No. Why didn't you say, listen, there's a man here threatening my life. There's a man here threatening to kill me if I don't come out. There's a man here threatening my family. Why didn't you tell that to the police? Maybe that would have caused them to come out.
As God is my living witness, unstoppable, I did say who it was, and I did say that he was threatening to kill me. I did say it. And long as he's not in your house, and as long as he's not causing a disturbance in the community, they're not coming out. And they did not come out, as God is my living witness. And I will tell you when they did come out. After he's prancing around this building, and I'm reliving it as I'm telling you because I can see all the things. He's prancing around this building, jumping up on the balcony, jumping off the balcony, going around it, and this door is wedged up. So he's intending for me not to come out of the building anyway. And I wanted to go out, and my sister said, you are not going anywhere. I think at the time, my sister got so crazy because she was shouting at me, you ain't going anywhere. She had to like shake me because I was in so much of a panic that I wasn't even thinking straight. My sister, unbeknownst to me, had called my brother. My brothers and that were not really that close, but she called my brother, and then he had turned up with a knife. Now, when I called back the police and said that, listen, my brother's outside with a knife now, then they came because now you are breaching, there's a possible breach of the peace. That's how the police came out that night, and the police actually sound vexed. I remember clearly that the police, like now, I've made them have to come out. So what happened when they came out to my sisters? They came in and was taking a statement from me, my sister, and my brother, and thankfully the children were still sleeping. And they said they couldn't find him, and then they got a call while they were interviewing us, and they said they found him not far from the house with an axe. He had take what I think it is was actually the meat cleaver from my house. He had borrowed a friend's car and have driven the 2.5 hours from the north of England down to London with the meat cleaver to do me damage. And he, I don't know, they found him and they were asking me if he takes drugs and all these things. And I said, why? I've never known him to take any drugs. So the way he's shaking, I said, that's how he is when he's angry. He shakes and he paces up and down. And I said, I've spoken to the doctor about this how many years ago? They said nothing's wrong with him, but he doesn't take drugs to my knowledge. He's just like that. When he's angry, he paces like an animal. So you feel like you're trapped prey. And that's what I was explaining to him. So they arrested him. They arrested him to appear before the court the next day. I can't remember exactly what happened with that, but they had a court case ongoing for threats to kill. And I don't know really what happened with that case. I can't really remember, but that's what happened that night. And they had the axe. When I went out the building the next day to try and start my car wouldn't start. So I saw one of my sister's neighbors and I said, can you just have a look for me, see what's wrong with this car? He said that the HT lead is not there. So what my husband has done is disabled the car because he was probably in anticipation that I was going to jump. Took the HT lead out, so the car couldn't start. So I thought to myself, oh my God. I stayed with my sister for a good while. I don't know how long I stayed with my sister. We're sleeping on the floor. We're doing this, we're doing that. I had asked if there was any way that we could get him out of the house because we actually need to get back in the house. I'm paying a mortgage here. I can't stop paying the mortgage and I can't actually set up my life again with having to pay the mortgage. And yes, believe it or not, I went back. I went back because I wanted to be in my house. And I couldn't inconvenience my sister anymore. As much as she wasn't worried about it, I felt really bad about the fact that I'm putting her life at risk. And you know what I mean? And I went back and I can't explain to you why I went back other than that. I don't even know what I was thinking. I went back and I was pregnant in 1996. And I was still working, studying, looking after my children. And I had a son in 1996 and still functioning as a victim in silence, walking on eggshells, not having anyone to talk to. I'm still going through forced sex, but I started to, as much as I was still in the church, I sort of detached myself from the worship team and things. And I know that I started to drink. I started in them days, I don't see them around now, but in them days you could buy the 5-litre bottles of wine. And I remember putting my kids to bed and drinking that because that's the only way that I could sleep. And believe you me, I could get through the 5 litres, no problem. And that's the only way I could get to sleep. And I remember, you know, that during that time, he was out most evenings. Thankfully, he was out most evenings. I didn't know at the time that he was having an affair. So he was out most evenings. He'd come in from work and he's gone, but that was good for me. That was nice for me. I liked that period because he was not there and my children would go to bed and I'm in my little routine. My children have gone to bed. They're all right. Now I can sit down in front of the box in peace and drink some wine before I could go to bed because I could not sleep without drinking. I didn't even think about depression or anything during that time, but I drank. And it kept me, something was keeping him occupied. And one time I said to him, where are you going every night? Where are you going every night? What are you up to? Oh, the man just cussed me off and just walked out. This is the man that plays the instrument in church, by the way. And anyway, one night when he came from, he didn't used to bother me either when he came back. So I didn't know at the time that he was having an affair. Found out later. But one night when he came back, I don't know what vexed him or whatever. He come back and this man decides to come. Sometimes when I see his face, it's like a zombie. And I don't know of him taking drugs, but he come back one night. I don't know what upset him. He decided he wants to dance. Okay, you want to dance? I want to dance. So I'd rather you just go to bed and leave me alone. He wants to dance. And then while this man has taken me off the setting to dance, the pressure on my ribs was unbelievable. As I'm speaking to you now, I can remember the pressure. It coming like this man was trying to break my ribs. The pressure, he wasn't dancing. The man was deliberately applying pressure to my ribs. Oh my God, I can remember. And this man just carried on like that, then threw me on the floor and raped me. The usual nasty behavior that I was subjected to that night. But most of the time during that period, 96, 97, he was not in the evenings, which was good for me. But that incident happened during that time. I had a so-called friend, and I tell you why I call her so-called friend from church at the time, who was probably closer to me than any other female at the time in the church. And we got a bit friendly, so I used to go to hers every now and again with the kids, just to chill out and just have a change of scenery. So one time, I went and stayed there with my two children because I'm trying to get away, but I've not told her what's going on. But this time I know that if I'm there with her, I've left and I've stayed there. I don't know he's known that I'm there. So I've left and I've gone to my friends and I've left with the kids and I stayed there for a good few weeks to get out of the way. I remember telling my daughter, do not go with daddy if he comes to the school to get you. So I used to come all the way from the other side of the city to drop my children at the school. But my son was at nursery. So one day I get a call from the school to say that your husband has turned up and your daughter refused to go. I said, thank you, keep her with you. And then I got a call from the nursery that my husband had scaled the fence and snatched my son. I thought, here we go. I said, oh my God, I'm in a panic again. This time I went back to the police station and I went to the police station and the police, when I told them what was going on, this is ACOX Green again. I went to the police station and told them what was going on, and they initially were very cooperative. There's the first time I got a little help. It felt like help. I'll tell you what happened. I went there and they escorted me to the school to pick up my daughter. She had listened to what I said and she didn't go with him, thankfully. So they took me back to the station. Now they're trying to locate my son. So they said, what does he usually drive? Because I was the one that was driving. I said, well, he hasn't got a car at the moment, but he sometimes uses his dad. I said, one thing you might want to do, this is the mistake I made. I said, his brother-in-law is a police officer. Me, stupid me. I said, his brother-in-law is a police officer. Maybe you can ring him and he can let you know some details of where he might be, because he's married to his sister. So I don't know what happened. After he spoke to the police, after he spoke to my brother-in-law, his brother-in-law, his sister's husband, the police brought my son to me because they'd obviously found him, and then threw me out the police station. I said, but are you not going to take a report of what's happened? Nobody's not taking a report. I don't know what that other police officer, his brother-in-law, told them as police officer to police officer. And what happened, they threw me out the police station. When I went in my car again, which was parked right outside the police station, my car won't start. I call a colleague from work and he looked at the car. He said, you haven't got no spark plugs in here. I said, that's not possible. I said, I drove here. He said, you've got no spark plugs in the car. The man has taken out my spark plugs right outside the police station and left me again. This is the second time he has disabled my car. So I had to get this mechanic out to fix my car so I could get on the move again, got all new spark plugs or whatever. Later on, this man actually showed me where he threw the spark plugs. I'll tell you, I didn't know whether it was more stressful for me being within the house or outside the house. Both of them were stressful for me. I'm still paying the mortgage. I'm still trying to work. I'm still trying to keep my life together. At this time, I'm not even thinking straight. I'm just not straight at all. I don't know if it's more stressful to be out or in. So anyway, I went back home. I went back again and I was pregnant with my fourth child. When that pregnancy, I don't remember any major incidents happening for the first 3 months I've been pregnant. When I was 3 months pregnant, this man, I was going to see this friend that I thought she was a friend. Wait, I'll tell you about that in a bit. I went to see this friend. Sorry. Wait.
I want to be sure that I heard what you said. Did you just say you got pregnant again?
Yeah, I was pregnant with my fourth child.
During this time when you're supposed to be trying to make a getaway, when you're supposed to be trying to make an escape, when you're supposed to be grabbing the tree where you done get and run, you mean to tell me you make a fourth one come in play?
I got catch with the fourth one, but I was on contraception. I got catch with the fourth one. So at the end of the day, that's my child still. At the end of the day, I'm not going to abort any baby. So, but I can add to that, that previous to that, the amount of times I've had to go to the clinic and get the after morning pill, and up to today he wouldn't know. The amount of times I've had the incidences of rape, and nobody who knows me knows that I've had to go and get the after morning pill to be able to stop pregnancy. So it's not like I was deliberately getting pregnant. You get what I mean? So I've taken the morning after pill to ensure that a baby doesn't, catch and all of that stuff. And this time I didn't take any morning after pill or anything, and I'm on contraception. And I'm pregnant the fourth time.
Andrea said something just now, and I want to ask you this question.
Yeah.
Andrea, good night to you.
Mm-hmm.
Is it that you were afraid so much to the point that you were afraid to run? Is it that you feared him so much that you just feared leaving, that he may haunt you and hurt you worse? Is that the case?
Yeah. Yes, it is. It's bang on point. That is exactly why I didn't leave. That is exactly why I kept going back as well. I think that unless you're in that situation, you would never kind of understand how people are thinking. But yes, I was petrified of this man, absolutely petrified. And what I'm realizing now is that the frequency of the attacks step up. For example, I remember once a year, and then it's frequent, and it's coming down to a weekly event. So they step up as they gain strength. They step up their action, and that's what I was going through. And this is the first time, thank God, I'm feeling so much better talking about this, because it's the first time I've really talked. So
no,
yeah, so I'm pregnant now for
one
sorry
other question, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Leslie, yes, the kids,
yeah, that's okay.
The kids are his. Now the other question that I have for you, during all this abuse, was it visible to the children? Did the children ever see him abuse you, or he didn't normally do it around the kids? What was that like?
The event I'm about to tell you is the first time that it's been around my children. With my first daughter, she would always be out of the house or in bed, asleep. The next incident I'm going to tell you, my eldest daughter was out, but my son was home. He was about 3, and my son was home. So this is the first time that one of the children are going to see something. So, so when I was pregnant for my fourth child, now, I wanted to go out one morning. So, and I said, well, if you can, my eldest daughter was at church with her grandparents, and I wanted to go out and then leave him with my son. I just wanted to pop to that so-called friend from church that I stayed with when I left for the few weeks. And I wanted to go. Soon as he heard where I was going, and I'll tell you why later, because I didn't know at the time. Soon as he found out where I was going, he snatched the car keys from my hand and threw me over the settee, knowing that I'm 3 months pregnant. And when I got up to run again, and to grab my son, he has thrown me on the floor, knowing I'm 3 months pregnant, and now he's kicking me in the stomach, he's kicking me in the face. At the house, comes back and says, if you tell anyone, I'll come back and stab you up. And these are the exact words that he said. And I remember clearly, and I look at the scene as I'm talking to you, I remember clearly my little boy sitting there, and I had to say to him, can you go upstairs and get your nappy? And I remember saying to him, can you go upstairs and get your nappy? And then he come down and said, oh, well done. Can you go upstairs and get your wipes? And then he come down with his wipes so that I could change him, because I couldn't stand on my feet at the time. And I remember that my lip was busted and I was in agony. And I didn't know what to do at that stage. I'm like, oh my God. And then this man is going to come back. I believed he was going to come back and stab me up. Thankfully, when his parents had finished church and brought back my daughter, by that time I'd managed to get myself on the settee, and thankfully my son was asleep quite fine. And I said, you need to take me to the hospital, because I'm not, this is what your son has done to me. take me to the hospital. And he said, and I need to get back before he gets in because he says he's going to stab me up if I tell anyone. They took me to the hospital with my daughter and my son. Both of them took me, and his mother came into the room with me. So the doctor's asking me what happened. And I told the doctor everything that happened. This wouldn't happen these days, you know, it happened then. I told the doctor everything what happened. And he said to me to get on the couch so that he could examine me, especially for the baby's sake, because I'm pregnant. And I went to lift my leg to get on the couch. And that's when I realized I couldn't actually lift my legs up. I couldn't lift them up. And he lifted them up on the and then examined me. And then so everything seemed to be all right with the baby and everything like that. And I'm saying to his mum, I'm scared of your son at the end of the day. You know, so they didn't do nothing to help me at all. Not one thing did they do to help me or to say, come and stay by me. I don't know if they talked to him behind my back. But later on, it's only one member that got involved later on in my story. But they took me back home just for the man to stab me up, basically, because that's what I told them he said he was going to do. But they took me home and they left before he came back. And, you know what I mean? That's what they really needed to do, because at the end of the day, if he knew that I went with them, up to today, I don't think he knows that they took me. And so that happened. And I tell you, I don't know if I had depression but never knew it, because to me, my mind is still saying, I've got to get through this. And I know I'm still praying. I'm still a praying woman. And I'm saying I've got to get through this. And I can't call the police because they've not done me any good so far. And I'm fearful as well that if they arrest him, they're going to just let him back out, because I know that used to happen to people as well, that they arrest them and they let them out, and then I'm afraid that the problem's going to get even worse. I left to go to London for a third time, and he didn't follow this time, thankfully, and I stayed for months. And my son and my daughter, this time I'm still pregnant, and they moaned that they want to be back home, they want their dad, they want their bed, they want their... I should never have listened to my children, because in the best interest of my children was to stay away, but I didn't think like that then. And I stayed for months, and they enrolled in a school, and they hated the school, and they missed their dad, and I'm still paying this mortgage. And I need to go back to work as well, because I can't be off work indefinitely. But I stayed a good 3 or 4 months at that point. And when I went back home and went in my house, all the furniture in my house had gone. So all these things, all of the furniture, every bit of the furniture in my house had gone. So I said, "Where's the furniture?" "Well, I didn't think you were going to come back, and I'm clearing it so that you don't come and get none of it." I said, "Where's the furniture?" "It's at a friend's garage." I didn't know at the time, but the friend's garage he was talking about is a woman who he had been sleeping with, who's older than his mother. He had been sleeping with her from when my first son had died. She had my furniture in her garage. So, and the police officer man, his brother-in-law, was the one that helped him do it, because he's the one that came back and helped him put it back in the house. So I just sat there, but my kids were quite happy to be in their rooms. They ain't noticing nothing. They had their stuff, but the rest of the house had no furniture in it. And in the October, I remember the October before I gave birth, I heard him on a phone call. Well, I heard someone saying on the phone to him, "This baby is not yours." So I said, "Okay." So I stood in front of him while he was taking this call. I said, "Oh, so the baby's not yours, is it?" I said, before I know it, this woman, this English woman, English as in white-skinned woman, is at the door with her black boyfriend, and he is arguing with my husband, because clearly when my husband was out in the evenings when I was having my peace, this is the woman he was sleeping with, one of the parents at my children's school. So he now knocking on the door wanting to confront my husband. So the fight, they fight, these two men fighting with me and this other woman heavily pregnant. And this man is saying, "This ain't your baby," or whatever. "Oh, dare you be," or whatever they were going. I just went inside the house and sat down. My children were at school. Out of the house, and I just went and sat down. I remember sitting down and saying, next thing I'm hearing glass breaking. My husband got in one of his tempers and pushed his fist through the glass of the front door. I just sat there. I thought, you know what? This is nothing to do with me. I've had enough. And I think from then things started to kind of click in my head. What am I doing? You know what I mean? So what am I doing with myself? I gave birth the following month to my daughter. No, sorry, before that, this lady then proceeded to write me a letter to tell me all of what had been going on, how my husband and her had planned to run off with her kids and my kids and whatever, and build a life. I thought, what a fairy tale. So anyway, so that was what was going on behind my back at that time. I gave birth to my daughter in the following month, and he was totally useless. And but the baby was fine. When I was doing some checks in London, they were saying because of what's happened to you, the baby's head was small and all of this and whatever. But the baby came out fine. She was absolutely fine. I tell you something. When I still kept my house. I must make a point that during all this time, I still worked, I still cooked, I was at uni getting my further education. I was doing all this stuff, looking after my kids and cooking and cleaning and ironing and doing everything that I know I'm supposed to do. And what happened now, when my youngest was 3 months old, I can't remember where my two older ones were. When she was 3 months old, he wanted a shirt ironed. So I said, well, you're going to have to do it yourself, really, because at the end of the day, I'm finding my mouth again, because there was some time, a long period, that I just lost my mouth out of fear. But I started to find my mouth, and I said, we're going to have to do it yourself, because I'm really too tired to be doing that right now. And everything else, and use another shirt, because there are other shirts that you can use. He don't want that one. He just wants to provoke me. He wants this shirt. Every other wife irons all the shirts and all of this kind of rubbish. So anyway, now the man took up the baby out of my arms and went upstairs. So I'm right behind him. And the man held the baby at 3 months old over the stairwell and said, if you don't iron the shirt, I'm going to drop the baby. So I remember clearly, and I thought, oh my God, Dad was in a panic. I jumped on the phone to the police, and I'm trying to get to the phone. Just before the police answer, this man said, if you talk to the police, I'm going to go and drop the baby over the stairs. And so I put the phone down, because I'm trying to save this baby, and I'm arguing, I'm doing your shirt. I'm going to do your shirt. I'm going to do it while I'm ironing the shirt. The baby's fine. He's not nowhere near the baby. While I'm ironing the shirt, the man says to me, I could just take that iron right now and just brand you with it. That's how he was going.
Carla.
He didn't say Brando, because he's quite British.
Carla,
yes.
Let me ask you, please.
Yes.
For Christ's sake, please tell me at this point it was enough for you to take your kids and run. Please tell me that was what break the camel back. Please tell me. Because obviously he doesn't have your kids' best interest at heart either. He wasn't willing only to hurt you, but he was also willing to hurt your kids. So please tell me at this point was when you run. Please.
Let me tell you what happened. Unstoppable. I didn't run at that stage. What I had done after he threatened me with the iron, and then he said to me, if I'd have gone, I would just shoot you. That's what he said. These are exact words that he said to me. And what I had done, what I was doing was, in my head, I was doing an exit strategy in my head. So my exit strategy is the fact that I need money. I can't keep paying this mortgage and not have a job. I needed a plan to have money. Money was my let down at the stage, because you can't have kids, or even just, if it's just me, my thought process, if it's just me, I can run any time. But when you're with kids, I have to think more about that. But I didn't even think at the time. I should have thought at that time, this man is now threatening my kid. But I didn't even think at the time. I think I need an exit strategy. I had some kind of inner numbness, I can tell you. And I can't really explain why I did the things I did. And I look over my life and I think, oh my God. But I know that God was my strength, because that inner strength in there and that inner feeling, that something was keeping me. Something was keeping me. And I know it was my prayers. And no, I didn't leave at that time unstoppable. I ironed his shirt and endured the threats, and that man must have been seeing someone else at that time, because he cooled off for a good little while, until like my daughter was about 1, and then I remember clearly the December 2000, my nephew and his father came to stay. My sister and he had split up, and he took full custody of the baby. But we stayed very much in contact for my nephew, and we're just like family. He came to stay for the weekend, and um, when he was leaving on the Sunday, he was saying to my husband, I mean, he doesn't know what I've been through. He was saying to my husband, "You have got such a brilliant wife. Look at the way that she has treated us. Look at the way she has looked after us. Oh, some men would die for a wife like yours." Little did I know this was driving this man mental. I didn't know, because I'm saying, "Oh, thank you." And he was saying, "You have a good wife. Hold on to this good wife that you've got." Little did I know this was enraging my husband. And soon as they said bye and they left, it was not even a minute after I shut the front door and said bye-bye. It wasn't seconds. By the time I walked back in the living room and sat down, woof, right in my eye, box up in my eye. It wasn't even a box. I got a full fist right in my eye.
Just because
And
somebody
then I
gave
was
you a
thrown on the
compliment?
floor.
Just
He was saying, my nephew's father was saying how good I was.
So just
And
because
I
you got a
didn't know
compliment,
that.
him beat you.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't. You see, it wasn't even a minute when that man left the house, because I remember running to get to the door, because I'm thinking he's still outside. He's still out there. Yeah. I tell you, when he dragged me back and threw me on the floor, all I remember is my leg feeling busted. My head was hurting me. I remember that this man was stamping on my head, and I'm thinking, I'm not even thinking, I don't think at the time. I just remember pain. But I remember, and I see it now in my eye, that the kids, I heard screaming. And then the kids had ran he had shooed the kids to go upstairs. But I remember the nappy of my youngest daughter scurrying up the stairs. And that's the image I have of these little kids rushing up the stairs. My daughter at the time, my eldest daughter, was 7. So at the time now, I ran to try and get to my daughter, not knowing that my leg was busted up. And I ran up and locked the 4 of us in the bedroom, but I didn't have my phone. So I locked the 4 of us in the bedroom as this man is running outside the door. To be honest, I was scared and this is the worst I've been scared out of all the incidents I've been through, over all the rapes with the blanket on my head, all them things. This is the worst incident for me, because he's attacked me with knives before, like where he hold me over the stairs and he'd have the knife over the back of my head. But this incident scared me the most, so much so that I was prepared to jump out of the 20-foot window. That's where my mind was going. I was that scared, because I thought, this is the night that I'm going to die. Let me die jumping out of this, because you see, my 7-year-old daughter, I feel so bad. I feel like this wicked parent. This 7-year-old daughter took up this responsibility like a big woman. I feel so bad. Up to this day, she's a big woman now with her own child now, but I feel so bad that I was this poor, pathetic mother, you know what I mean, that just couldn't fight for these kids. And I just wanted to jump out the window, and, you know what I mean? And at this stage, other than, well, he hold the baby over the stairs, we had attacked them like whatever, and I didn't see any other bad treatment towards the kids. But I wanted to jump out the window. My 7-year-old daughter went out the room and said, "Lock the door, Mum." And I heard her shouting at, "Dad, you're hurting Mummy." And I was so disgusted. You see, when that man heard her shout, he went downstairs and he just went away. And my daughter come back in the room. And I thought to myself, this reverse. This is in the wrong order here. I ran into the bedroom. I told her, "Get your clothes on." And I went to the bedroom. The man came upstairs when the kids were in their room getting ready, and told them, "Don't leave the room." And he just stood at the door of the bedroom, and unstoppable, I tell you no lie, I wet myself. I was that scared, I wet myself. I could feel my face swelling. I can feel I don't know what was going on. All I know that I was in pain. I just wet myself. I said to him, "I need to go to a hospital." I said, "This is the first time I'm going to a hospital as well." I said, "I need to go to a hospital." I just remember saying, I need to go to the hospital. And I was in this pathetic state. I need to go to the hospital. And I just wet myself. Look at this. And I'm thinking, this is how I felt so degraded, you know what I mean? And whatever. So, but that happened. And this man agreed to take me to the hospital. So we're at the hospital. Oh my God, my poor little kids. I'm at the hospital with the kids there. And I'm just shaking. This man catches Fred and said, come on, we're going home. I said, I ain't going nowhere. He said, come on, we're going. I said, well, I'm not going anywhere. He left the hospital with the kids and left me there. And when I stayed the whole night, and they were saying to me, see, these things couldn't happen now, but they were saying to me, what happened, who did this? And I didn't open my mouth and said no word. I didn't speak. I didn't say a thing.
I want to ask you another question.
And
I want to ask you another question. And this is something that I know is common amongst women who are abused. While this man was abusing you, as bad as he was, as horrible as he was, did you feel as if you were the reason why he was abusing you? Did you blame yourself for that?
I think initially, after my son died, I blamed it I made the excuse that it was possible grief and everything. But I'm thinking, well, I'm grieving. I'm not beating anyone up. So I kind of dismissed that. As we're going on, I thought it was me. I don't even know. I don't know if I thought it was me unstoppable or what. I don't know. All I know is that this man hates me enough to be beating on me. And I don't even know what I was thinking. I can't even answer that question too clearly, to be honest. But I don't know. I really don't know. All I knew I needed to do is to keep functioning. I was a very functioning victim, because you would not know that I'm going through what I was going through. You would never know. You would never see it like that. This is the only time. Sorry, go on.
Another question for you. Did you view it as normal to see a man abuse you? Did you view that as normal?
No, I knew it wasn't normal. I knew that the abuse wasn't normal. Nothing about this was normal for me. I think what it was is that basically I was a weak woman, because I can't fight. I can fight with my mouth only. I can't fight with my fist. And I think that I think if I'd have turned around and punched him back in the face, he may have stopped from the beginning or something. Like, I don't know. I never grew up in this environment. I don't know it. You're going to find out a bit of the history in a bit when I tell you about what went on. But yeah, I didn't think that it was normal at all. I knew it was not normal.
A lot of the viewers are asking if he was British.
Yes, he's British.
Okay.
Not a black British.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, continue.
Yeah, black British. Yeah, so anyway, so he's left me at the hospital, and I've stayed overnight. I've still not opened my mouth. I've not said anything. And the next morning now is the only time I thought, this man is not going to come back for me. I need to be with my kids. And I kind of panicked, and I called my boss, and I said to my boss, I was just about to explain to my boss what was going on and why I need her help, and he come through the door. So I said, it's all right, he's here. And then I left the hospital. This was Christmas season. I remember clearly, I'm supposed to sing as a singer in several gigs. He's still playing the bass in the church. I'm supposed to be one of the singers. I said, what are you going to tell them now? What are you going to tell them now when they come and they usually congregate and practice at my house? What are you going to tell them now? You get what I mean? So now I said, at this point, I've already got my kind of strategy. I think I've got my strategy in my head. I'm convincing myself I've got a strategy in my head. I took pictures. I made sure I took pictures. And I kept them in a very safe place. And he didn't know at the time, but I took pictures and I was documenting stuff. And, I don't know what he told them church people, but they didn't come in the house all that Christmas season. But one day his sister turned up, surprisingly. It was a surprise visit. His sister turned up at the house. And when she saw my face, she laid into her brother something chronic. And I say, thank God. She laid, and then she said, the first thing I've ever heard is, you know what Uncle so and so did? How he killed his wife and done 7 years in prison. Oh my God. This this family have a history where the grandfather beat up the mother, the brothers beat up the sisters. It's just in their line. And I'm just finding out that one of the uncles killed his wife how many years ago? And she laid into him and she told him off good. And I say, she told him off good so much, but and then this is the only sister that I give credit to out of the whole family. What she secretly did that day was a couple of days later, anytime she would go on holiday with her family, she'd give me her key to her house. And she said, if anything, you make sure you find your way to my house and don't tell him nothing because they lived a good distance away. So I'm thankful. I'm thankful for her. So the abuse is in his line. It's happened from great grand all the way down. And one of the uncles told me the full story some years later, and it looks like now this is the same thing that is in his line. He's grown up seeing it himself. So to him, this is probably normal because this is what his dad did to his mother. And so I took the pictures of this, and I felt like I was getting a bit stronger because what happened is that his set of friends of his came round. Well, they're joint friends, really. And they came round one night, and a couple took out the pictures right in front of him. I said, this is what I'm going through. This is what he did. And I knew that from getting that strength to do that, he was weakening, because now I'm exposing him right in front. Well, he can't. Well, my thinking was, he ain't gonna go beat me up now because I've shown everyone. They know it's you. And I was right. Sorry.
No, I said nothing. Go ahead.
Hello. Oh, sorry. I can hear it crackling in my end, like someone's speaking. So I showed the pictures in front of him to our joint friends. I said, this is what I've been going through for years. And he felt shame. And I remember he walked in the kitchen and he was washing up, pretending like he's washing up. Because remember, anytime that he's around people, he's charming and lovely, you know. No, everybody loves him more than me, because I'm now introverted back into myself, and I'm this person that's just this quiet thing at the side, and everybody loves him because he's all sociable and everything, and I ain't got the strength to socialize with anyone with all the things I'm going through, but they love him more than they love me because he's the outgoing one. So now that I've showed them what I've been going through, and I didn't tell him what I'm going through. I said, let me show you my portraits. And that's how I did it, right in front of him. And he never knew. And that's the first time he knew I had pictures. And then I put them back. And their mouths, their faces, I know the two men went in the kitchen and were there hours with him. And these are two churchmen. And they were hours with him. And I don't know what they said. I don't really care what they said. But at the end of the day, this man, he can't be going on like this. And at the end of the day, I ain't keeping my mouth shut anymore. So anyway, what happened now? His sister decided to move to the country, and I'm thinking, I said, all right, I'm going to use a little brain here. Listen, your sister's moving. Let's move near your sister, because he doesn't know, remember, the plan that I have with the sister. So when she's away, I can go there. So I said, your sister's moving. Let's move where your sister's moving to, because that's, for me, is my little safety net now, because someone, at least one person, is trying to help me. By the way, to go back a bit, the friend that I was staying with at church, what I call the so-called friend, she was sleeping with my husband anyway. So all the time, when I was staying at her house, you know, the bus route that he worked on passes her house. So he knew where my car, he knew I was there all the time, and was threatening to burn the car up and all this sort of stuff. He said, yeah, I knew where he was all the time. I was going to burn up the car if the children didn't need to go to school. This was before he snatched them from the nursery and I had to use the police. So he was sleeping with the church sister as well. So, but anyway, moving on, his sister moved, and I said, I worked a bit of brain on him. So let's move where your sister's moving to, because I'm thinking I need to be near someone who's going to help me. So we moved, and I've also thought as well, you know what, let me move, because my strategy to get out, I'm going to end up with more money to be able to set myself up. So I thought, let me use a little bit of brain. He was fine, brilliant. We all did this, bought a nice big house, bought a lovely house up there. Everything was good for the first year or so. Everything was brilliant. The man gone quiet and everything. Behind my back, I didn't know he was still seeing a different woman from a different church, because we moved church. But at the end of the day, he was quiet. and everything seemed to be going all right. But this time, by the time I moved to this place, I started to drift from church because I'm thinking to myself, I'm a praying woman, and this is not our. This is I. How comes I can't find someone within the church to talk to? And I'm just there on my own praying, and I'm thinking that this is not really working for me. But yet still, I didn't sort of disbelieve in God or lose faith in God. It was the church system that I was losing faith with at the time. So by the time we moved, um, I wasn't really going to church, but he still went and was playing as part of the musician in the worship team.
Tony Tuff is asking.
So and all this hypocrisy.
Tony Tuff is asking if you actually moved and carried the man with you. Why?
Yeah, I moved with him.
Why?
Well, I'm not so too sure I was going to move without him. I'm not too sure how I would have moved without him, seeing that it's a joint property and I need the funds and sold that house to move to the new house, the bigger house. So I'm not too sure how I could have done it without him.
Right.
I know, foolish as it sounds, but yeah, that was the score at the time. I couldn't have done it without him. At the end of the day, I needed to sell my house. If I can't sell my house without his permission, and I can't sell my house around him, and I need the funds, the profit out of that house to put in the new one. But it was part of my strategy because I knew that at the end I was going to come out with more money. Yes, I was putting myself more at risk, and but that was not my thinking at the time. So I did move to this larger house, and things seemed really good at the time. And everything was quiet. It wasn't so much as it was good; it was peaceful. He wouldn't trouble me much in the first year or anything, but then he started to escalate his behavior again after the first year. And I suspected at the time that he was who he was seeing and who she was. She was singing in the church too, and I suspected that, and I started to just document stuff, and I documented the phone bills, and I thought, listen, woman intuition is a very good thing. I'm going to hold on to this. So I started to hold on to this notion there. This is what's going on, and I started to tell his sister, this is exactly what's going on. And I was telling his sister now, so at least I had one person to speak to. So I was telling his sister, and she was supportive of me. But let me tell you what happened a couple of days before I ended leave. Well, so the last year before I left. What happened the last year before I left was that when the affair came out, I confronted him about it, and he decided he wanted to ignore me. Now, this is the first time I've become violent now, because now I took this empty wine bottle. I wasn't drunk, but the wine bottle was empty, and I threw it to hit his head, and it missed. So this man jumps up. So you want to listen? I'm thinking, well, you've been abusing me all this year. I was getting a bit of mold, getting a bit of boldness here. So I threw the bottle at his head, but it missed his head and it chipped my Italian table. And he went ballistic. And then he decided to grab me in a headlock and got a knife in the kitchen, dragged my head in a headlock into the kitchen, got a knife and threatened to cut out my tongue because now I've got too much mouth. I said, okay. So I'm saying to myself, if you're going to cut it, you're going to cut it today, because I ain't going for another day of this suffering. You best cut it today. And I think my mouth kind of frightened him a bit because I'm not used to being so feisty like that. I said, if you're going to cut it today and let's be over and done with, because you're not going to get another opportunity to cut it. And then I was getting stronger. From the time I showed them pictures and I'm talking to the sister, I'm gaining strength. So now he got me in the headlock and then he let go. But I remember one day, and when he was not there, I knelt down on the floor in my living room and I cried out to God and I said, Lord, take my life because I just can't take it anymore. I'm never, ever going to commit suicide, but you know how to end my life. I can't take it anymore. And I believe that God heard my prayer because about a few months later, what happened was that my son was asking his dad to fix the PlayStation. The PlayStation was broken. He wanted his dad to fix it for him, and he went ballistic. He went ballistic so much so that my poor little boy ran upstairs. So I'm right behind my son. So he attack my son now. Okay, you want to attack my son. So now I got in between him and my son. I said, listen, if you're going to punch someone, you're going to punch me. And it's the last time you're going to punch anybody, because at the end of the day, so I'm finding a bit of strength. And I told my son to run, and he went downstairs, and the two girls were outside playing. And I said, go. And I got the brunt of all the attack. I was thrown in the ensuite, and I'll tell you, all sorts of stuff was going on in there. But I come out worse. Thankfully, my son was uninjured. And I took my 3 children, I got in the car, and went straight to the police station. And the police station was locked. There's one down in Mayfair, and it was locked. So I said, all right. I went to the hospital, and I said to my son, you tell them everything. You don't hold nothing back. Tell them everything that Dad did. And then after that now, you see, at this time now, we're talking about 2002. As he told the doctor everything that happened. For the first time in my life, thank God we did move, because the place that we moved to was predominantly English people. And when they heard what happened to my son, they contacted the social services, and they also contacted the police without my knowledge. So I was going to contact the police anyway. So when I left the hospital now, and they documented all that, I went to my sister-in-law's. And that time, she's the one who was married to the policeman who did me wrong before. When I think he quietened off when he realized what I was going through. He wasn't aware. So now when I went down to them, they hid my car for me and hid me in the house, and he never knew I was there. So I was in their house, and all the police interviews and social services interviews happened at my sister-in-law's house, and he never knew me and my kids were there. And I don't even think he was arrested. But the police now, the social services now started to want to have meetings with me. So he was made to leave the house, and I went to a solicitor with my sister to instigate my divorce proceedings. And that happened in 2003. But you know what happened? He left the house around about the August 2003, and was out of the house completely, and it was brilliant, the best time of our lives. I'm paying the mortgage anyway, so at the end of the day, you're not really contributing what you're supposed to contribute. To get the man to pay a bill is a nightmare. So I'm keeping things floating. And January 2004, the man decides he wants to move back. I didn't know all this time that when he was out of the house, he was staying with a house that this married church woman had got for him, and they were carrying on with their affairs there while her husband's at home and whatever. So he decides he wants to move back in. It's his house, he's moving back in. So when he decided to move back in January 2004.
Carla, hold on there, Carla. So
yeah,
I'm going to point out something that I'm sure fly over a lot of the listeners' head a while ago.
Yeah.
Not only were you with an abusive husband, you were with a cheating husband, and to get this man to pay a bill is always a problem. So,
yep,
you were in a situation where you most likely had to cover most of the bills, right?
Yep.
You were being abused, and you were being cheated on. Viewers, me know that fly over somehow on the head,
all of
right?
it, yeah.
That fly over somehow on the head, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
This is just too much.
Yes.
This is seriously
it's a lot.
Now, what I want you to do for me, because we are actually an hour and 33 minutes in, what I want you to do for me now is tell us how you eventually escaped this situation before I open the phone lines.
Yeah, just about to do that. I'm at the end anyway. So how I escaped in the April to he moved back in the January 24th, 2004, and carrying on with and escalating up his antics. One night he came home when the children were asleep, and I was asleep, and he took the telephone cord and started to wind it around my neck, and I woke up with this being wound around my neck. And only God knows what happened. I fought for my life. I fought for my life so much that night. And I don't know, but it's God. what I remember the phone flying across the room and him getting up. I had started to actually sleep with a knife under my side of the bed. And I couldn't even grab hold of it at that time. But thank God, because I don't know where I would have ended up if I'd have stabbed him. But I couldn't get it at the time where I'd hit it. But he was strangling me with the phone cord. And I managed to get it out of his hands. Such a struggle. And I remember getting up and I'll say, right, you're starting this thing again. I said, it's me or you tonight. Which one of us is going to die? Because I've had enough. And, you know, said the next day come, goodness knows whether I slept that night, I can't even remember. Goodness, the next day come, I said, I'm not staying in the house. So that evening, when that evening come, I went down to the local country club pub thing that does a pub restaurant. And I said, come with me, because I had a feeling this thing ain't done. This man didn't win the night before, so something's going to happen tonight. We went down to the pub. As soon as I got there, that man raving and ranting, I thought, okay, I'm going back inside. He took my business phone and cracked it on the floor outside of the pub car park. I said, all right, I need to get inside where there's lots of people. So I went inside and carried on like nothing's going on in front of these people. But I thought, like, anything happens, there's going to be loads of witnesses here. So the man I decided to call my different sister, my younger sister now. And I was just going on, you know what, telling her, you know, what's going on, where I am, just giving her little pointers, because I'm back in the country in Worcester and he's now, my sisters are in London. So they're still miles away. And I kept my sister on the phone and he was ranting, we're going now, we're going home now. I got up to go to the back of the pub. He's now decided to drag me. So people have seen him drag me out the pub. So he's dragged me now and he put me in the car and said, we're going home. Then on the way home, which is not even far, he threatened me and you, I'm gonna drive into a wall and we'll finish it there. Oh, I just braced myself. I thought, well, if I'm gonna be driving this wall, there's no point me panicking now. So I just thought to myself, let me just stay there and pray. The man was bluffing, drove home, and thankfully my younger sister had called the police, and about 6 of them had arrested him, and they escorted me to the edge of the motorway. I packed my stuff. They escorted me for about 4 hours to help me pack and go. And I drove and I never looked back. You know, and I moved to London permanently from then.
And
yeah, I do have a part 2 to my story, but not tonight.
And took all your kids with you, right?
Yeah, my kids. I wasn't going to leave my kids at all. My kids were with me. They're big people now. But thank God, you know, I just want to say that yes, what I went through seems unbelievable. My family don't know the extent. I don't believe any of my family are listening now. My parents don't know. No one knows what I've been through but God. But I thank you so much, Unstoppable, that I have the platform to get these things off my chest, and I feel so much better. I feel so much freer to be able to explain what I've been through, because I've not been able to do it. So I believe that your platform is a God-given platform, and I pray for you every day, because what you're doing in the lives of people is miraculous. The service that you are providing for a woman like me, I'm back in church now, but for a woman like me who's been in the church system, I find your show helped me more than the church. And I'm not bashing the church, because I think that there are good churches there, but you cannot speak like this in a church without judgment. And I find that your platform is not judgmental. It's positive criticism. It's constructive criticism that we're getting. And I want to ask God just to bless you immensely, because you don't know what you've done for me today. You don't know what you've done for me. I'm 51 years old now, and I'm a grandmother now. And, you know, I've had another 13 years of drama after I left that relationship, which I'll share another time. But thank God I'm alive, and I'm not a victim. I'm a survivor. No. I'm a survivor just because of God. I'm a survivor because the times when I could pray, and when I knelt down and said to God, take my life, he knew better, and he rescued me instead. And I thank God for that. All my children are well, all my children are safe, and my children and I are very tight, very close. You know, so thank God for that. And thank you so much.
Definitely. Now, Duane wants to know if after you left him and moved to London, did you ever communicate with him? Did you stay in contact? Did you cut him off for good? What did you do?
I cut him off, but he was bawling down the phone like a baby. Bawling every day. We can make it together. We can fight social services together. Bawling. I said, I don't even love you. I said, at the end of the day, there's no point you could keep calling my phone, calling my sister's phone. He never stepped foot back in London, but he's bawling down the phone. But no, I didn't entertain him. And it took me 7 years to get child support. And let me tell you something that none of you should laugh at me, but it's funny. I'm 51 years old and my youngest is just about to turn 21. And I've still got this man have people on his back to pay child support that he owes. Do you get what I mean? So this is the level of fatherhood that he has. But I thank God, I'm okay and I'm good. So I thank God for that. But no, he was
Also-
all in. He's remarried now.
Also, Violet. Okay, I just was about to ask you because Violet wanted to know if you got divorced, but that answered the question right there.
Yes.
All right, so I'm gonna open the phone lines.
I've been divorced. Yes.
I'm gonna open the phone lines to hear what the viewers have to say tonight because I'm quite sure everybody is stressed out right now. But one of the things, viewers, the phone line is open. It's 876-420-3368. You can call in and share your opinion on tonight's topic. Now, one of the things I must say is this. As you heard tonight's caller said, it is always good to be able to speak. And this platform is one that she is grateful for, to be able to let this off her chest. You see how many years this happened to her, and she said this platform gave her the opportunity to speak, because a lot of people just bottle things inside and never had a way to really talk about it without people ridiculing them or judging them. Caller, good night. You're alive.
Yeah, unstoppable. Big up yourself, man.
Blessings, my brother. Turn down the streaming at the background for my boss.
Yeah, man. Me mute it.
All right, my general. What you say now?
Why, me not lie still, no, brother. Yo, me don't know what make. Me don't know, brother. Like, you have some man out there, brother. Me I tell you, say them not deserve woman.
We still like hear a little feedback, my brother. You sure you mute the stream? We still like hear a feedback. I hear about myself.
Yeah. Me don't know. I'm turning off the TV. Yeah, hear me better now?
Yeah, man. I hear about myself. See me. I don't know why.
I don't know why, but I'm turning off the TV.
All right, but talk to it. Go on.
Yeah, man. But what I say still, brother, me really glad say the lady, the caller, get over it and get out of it. It was a really, really bad relationship. And the mere fact said the man a cheat. Not only that, he might beat you and abuse it. He might not cheat. That is something alone why you should leave that man. Any man that cheat plus beat you randomly. No man. So yo, when me did one just like off the TV and nobody listen to
Oh God.
Honestly, like me a boy, like me a look. Trust me, when me listen to them something, I make me be my better man.
Real.
Big man, answerable. Me not lie. Like me looking at myself and me I say, yo, me know me a good man already. Not that me a pat myself on my shoulder, but me I say, yo, no man. It just a show me say, yo, some ladies out there them a go through something.
Real.
And you see, brother, you know the most.
For real.
I listen to the show constantly unstoppable. Second time I call in, right? And all of these ladies were complaining about man I beat them. I never hear them say nothing about them have a brother where at least can take up to them, or somebody if you come in and come at this man and say, yo, listen, if you put back your hand for my sister, or my auntie, or my mother, or whatever,
exactly,
they are defenseless.
Yes.
I never had that.
Brother.
No, didn't have them. I've got two, but they didn't do nothing like that.
Exactly my point. So at the end of the day, men, we just lose this place here, man. We just lose the place, brother. You understand? And I just evil, I just Satan, demonic force. Because there's no man in the right and correct mind I go treat a woman like this or like that. No man. Randomly, repeatedly.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they get over it. I'm glad they get out of it. I'm glad to share your story. Because trust me, there's a lot of women out there that need to hear these stuff. And listen, I will say to each and every woman that's on the live or anybody who listen to this program that trust me, it does not matter. Don't let love blind you. No make love blind you. If a man lick you, report him to the police. Me text in the group and ask if you cook. Did you cook? You used to cook, get the man done.
Of course.
I'm not preach violence, so just read between the lines.
I know exactly what you say, my brother.
Yeah, man, you cook. There's no, brother. If man then stupid because if a woman a cook you.
Breaking news.
Them that.
Breaking news.
Thank you, sir.
All right, my brother. Blessings in the
Big up
thanks
yourself,
God.
unstoppable. I need to tell you, from what I'm want to call and tell you, say, yo, trust me. You see this program, my brother? I know I take it normal.
Real.
And trust me,
No,
you may be
not
started not. Trust me, you may be started not with the expectations. Yo, it's gonna get spiritual sometimes.
Real.
May I listen with the man, with the man calling from Canada the other day, and the man pray and trust me, brother, it's very powerful. You do something
Definitely.
great.
Yeah.
Pray.
Can I say something unstoppable?
Go ahead.
What I was going to say is that I wanted to highlight the domestic violence within the church. It's hidden. And for me, it needs to come out of the dark, because everyone is human. And just because you say you serve God doesn't mean that you're perfect. But the church needs to have an opening so that women such as me who were suffering within the church could be able to have a safe place. And I found no safe place. You know, even when the police were not doing anything in those days, all the things that I went through wouldn't happen now. They have to come out, they have to do a full report, and they have to charge, even if you don't want to push a report. But the church is covering up a lot of abuse. And the abuse stems from the pulpit down to the pew, and it's covered up. And I would love to work within the church to highlight the abuse that's going on, because it's too much. And what I've been through, if I didn't leave, he would have murdered me. I don't doubt that an inch, that I would be 6 foot under, but thank God I'm out.
I'm glad you escaped it as well.
I'm glad. Hey, and Carla, let me say this to you, because you said this multiple times as well, that it is somebody in the church doing all of this. I firmly believe that the church has lost its power. And as soon as we can come to the realization that there's a lot of wolves in sheep clothing, we have to remember that too. You understand? Because this one, on the music team, I play music every Sunday, and he's like a devil in disguise. Don't be fooled. Number one, this is not even, this doesn't, you even have to look on it like from a spiritual point of view, which you could, which is okay because you're a Christian. But this man is not, he might not affect you spiritually, he might affect you physically. So you don't look on physical stuff spiritually. You do not look on physical abuse spiritually. It's nothing spiritual about that. Well, of course, you know,
nothing
and whatever, but it might not be too.
Yeah, the man was doing a whole heap. The only spirit left that I had was at the bottom of the bottle. By the time I left, that's all I had left.
Oh Lord Jesus! Hey, listen, I go on and make somebody else get to share them up in there.
All right, my brother. Blessings.
Carla, continue to be strong and just continue to seek God and do not cease to pray. Continue.
Thank you. Will do. Thank you.
Unstoppable blessings.
And before you jump off, my brother, let me say this. Yes. Respect goes out to you for being the first person for calling, and he is a male. You understand?
Brother.
Viewers, you don't notice that? The first person to reach out to this lady and give her a word is a man. So anytime the man them call him, I have to say, hats off to you, my general, because most men really like to call in, you know. You understand?
Brother.
So if you see you take the initiative and say, yeah, more of it, say something to that lady, big up yourself, my general. Me appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Respect, man. And just continue, man. What we talk about,
thank you.
And, you know,
all right, my brother. Let's say all right.
All right, Carla, bless up, yeah?
Thank you. Bye.
Listen, me viewers. We have to big up that brother you call a while ago, though. Because the man call in and the man talk some facts. See, me see Jeffy over there on Facebook, so me like that caller, yeah. Me like that caller, yeah. Good night, caller, you're live.
Yes, unstoppable.
See that man, another man. That's what we are talking about. Real, my brother.
Me general, me say I watch it program and I tell us a Jano Star. Me say me feel hurt, my brother.
Bless.
Swear. Because I never know say them type of man they stay out in a road, brother. And they went dead off already. Jano Star, the lady got through a whole heap of things, man. Jano, cause just come from hospital a baby for a couple of days.
Real.
And man still want this. Boy, no, man.
Exactly.
And they are dirty, man. See me, them man, the thing, shake it down. You know what I mean? Cause big man thing, All if men then near and the woman and my family, brother, John was that I have to defend the woman, big woman thing, because man have a family, mother, sisters and friends see me, you see me? And John was that woman, how much years she go through, although she take long for, call the police them and then thing, but at least she attack about it, she attack her mind, so come out her, But John was that she fight it.
Real.
Understand? She fight it, and people have to kind of understand why she not really call the police, because she love her youth and she don't want to go call it, and the man now make take with the youth or hurt the youth, you know what I mean? So we have to give and take, right? This, you know what I mean? So you go man thing. But like the program, man, I tell you, one, keep up the program, yeah. Because the program right now teach me a lot. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I know things.
Blessings.
Understand? There's still a lady if you just keep and be strong, same way, you know what I mean? I'm glad how she jump out of that relationship and just focus on her thing. That's how things. See me I say?
All right,
Yeah,
my
man,
brother.
like
Blessings. Thanks for the call, Zane.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
All right, my
Yeah,
brother.
big up.
Carla, good night. You're live.
And sheep closes cover up. But I must say, the caller was just call a while. She makes some point where she asks some questions, saying that what point. And I see where his sister was a backbone for you when you moved to the country.
Yes.
Was to overcome, and I think you were pushed with her to fight back. And then what the kids now when they abuse the kids. That's it. Because the physical abuse is not the thing, it's the emotional one and all that, emotional one. That is what the major, because take over. But you see, the next thing I'm gonna say, and to everybody on the stream, you see this thing named generation curse. This is what we're suffering from all these years. Generation curse is a terrible thing.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. And in your situation, you're saying that after you married again, you have emotional problems in that marriage, or what was it?
No, I didn't have emotional problems in the second marriage per se. What I had was a certain level of, I married a Jamaican man. Certain liberty taking happened in that relationship, and then a lot more went on, which is not for this program really.
Okay, because what I was gonna say, some of that is from you were scarred. You were scarred from that. That's why the caller asks if you got counseling, because you come from a great background. And I wrote something like that a couple years ago. You come from a great background. No, I wrote something based upon that part. You come from a great background, but he come from a abusive background. And if you didn't get counseling up today, you pull on his card on you and you become scarred. And trust me, all of that, and thank God you was able to go there and get counseling. But God go with you, and I respect that you're able to move and get away from him and everything. But the Bible tell you, family that pray together, stick together, and live together. But these are where we all have to get involved. And if we Jamaican understand, you see those police, the same thing. If we notice back in the days in Jamaica, police would say, "Oh, we don't business now, domestic abuse." These are where we get all of these things from England, the UK, whatever. We get all of these things from the UK, and you see what damage it have done to the world sector all over. Because these are some things that really messed up people's mind, messed up everything, because they are the head. England, because they are the one who go around and discover different places and people live by the law. But thanks be to God, everything works, and you get counseling. And caller who called before a while ago and asking the question, trust me, you place some very valid point to this lady, and respect to that call.
Yes, you
and
did.
Stop big up yourself.
All right, Gary. Blessings, brother. Caller, good night. You're live.
Unstoppable. I'm just saying that I'm calling from England.
Thank you.
I'm just calling to say I like really appreciate that lady the way she dealt with it, and I think the church should get more involved. I'm a member of the church, and we have a counseling session there, but it it should get more involved in the ladies, because sometimes you're not confined in it, because they it will go back to other members. It's not really secure, and it will go back to other members, and then you'll be like a look down. They will look down on you. So the church needs to deal, as what she said, to deal with it more, because they look you down and think, oh, that member is having certain problems, and like if certain thing happened to you, they will more think it's your fault, and it won't be dealt with the way it should be dealt with. So what I tend to do, I just have a connection with God myself. Wherever my problem, I go on my knees and I deal with it. And I don't really take things to the church. I do have my problems. I have my share of problems. I don't look down on anybody because it's not your fault you get into certain problems. I have an abusive husband before, but I got out of it myself, because my problem was I wasn't even allowed to go to church. But I really go down in prayer and fasting, and I leave out the church because I wasn't getting the help, and I was even scared to say to the pastor. So what I do, I just connect in fasting and prayer, and well, I wasn't praying for his death, but he passed away. But then I got relief.
Wow.
But then I thought I would never get married again. You know, for he died 16 years. I never connect with another person after that, because it was really bad, and it scares me. So I don't want to really get into that no more. But I took my hat off to you, and I really respect you for how you dealt with it, and just have a connection with Christ, because He will never let you down. Just keep praying. Have a one-to-one with Him. Lock your room. Yeah, lock your room. Go on your knees and have a connection, and believe your connection. Believe that you're gonna answer. Believe me, it will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, just
All
have
right,
your
caller.
connection. Believe in it. Okay.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much for calling.
Christopher.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank
Grace, good night. You're the last call I'm accepting for the night. How are you?
Oh, lucky me, lucky me, lucky me. Good night, good night.
Not intentional,
Sister?
not intentional.
I know. Sister, good night. Girl,
Hi.
I know what it's like after you have your baby and you have to get stitches or you get crack, and then that man not only want to have sex but rape sex. Jesus. I got a headache. I got a headache when you say that, because I know what it's like. Stitches, you can't wash, you can't sit down, and this man, pure evil, pure evil. But my brother said something before. Generation curse. You said you're a praying woman,
Yes.
and you gotta
Totally.
pray for your children,
Yes.
because the boys, they are gonna abuse the wives and the girlfriend, and your daughters, they're gonna accept it. So get on your knees and you gotta
True.
pray to break that generation curse. We all have generation
True.
curse of some kind, and you gotta break that curse. And that woman who he married, ha, woe be unto her, because he's gonna treat her the same way. But you, thankful you're out of it, you're alive, but you gotta pray to break that generation curse. So see number last. Thank you, Mr. Unstoppable.
Blessings to you, Grace. Thank you for calling every time.
Thank you.
Okay, love. Good night.
All right, viewers.
Good night.
So Tony Tuff said something. Not Tony Tuff, sorry. Foreign TTB says in the chat, how does a woman that goes through such an ordeal like this, Carla, move on to a loving relationship? How is that even possible? To be honest, I personally believe that is possible. And the reason why I think that is possible is this. It is possible if us, men, love the woman where we pick up the way how they are supposed to be loved. Somebody try and understand what I say now. I believe it is possible if us men love the woman where we pick up the way they are supposed to be loved and treat them the way they are supposed to be treated. For example, if I should meet this caller right now, not knowing the trauma that she endured, not knowing what she went through, but because I'm a loving man who is going to love her and treat her right, I am going to show her something totally different than what she is used to. I'm going to give her love, affection, comfort, and take her mind from that state where it's inner with all the abuse. Now, I'm not saying that every now and then she's not going to have a flashback and think that, okay, maybe this man is going to hit me if me do something or if him think me do something wrong. I'm not saying that every now and then she's not going to remember what she went through. But when she has those flashbacks is when she need to remember that, hey, I have a man with me that is a real man who is going to reassure me that he is not going to abuse me. So when she flash back and she lash out at me because of something that happened to her in her past relationship, me now would have to console her and show her, say, baby, I'm here for you, I love you. So I'm saying this to implore every single man who is on this platform right now and hearing this. If you have your woman in your life and you don't even know what her past was like, embrace her, show her love, show her genuine love and affection, and you will see that you are making a difference in this woman's life. Believe me, it takes us men to show our women real love, not abuse. And by abuse, I'm not only talking about physical abuse, I'm talking about any kind of abuse. Emotional abuse, yes, that happens. Verbal abuse, yes, that happens. Taking it from the woman when the woman says, babes, I'm tired, and you still force her and take it, it wrong too. So every man who is hearing the sound of my voice right now, please, 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 let's start showing our women love. Let's start making our women feel safe because they know we are in their lives. Let's start doing that. And to the man them, we feel like say we're supposed to put on a hand on woman and beat woman. Let me tell you something. One of them day you see, I want to lift on a hand off of this woman, and the right man does a pass and see and grab you and put on a couple man box and man thump and man kick by you. Anyone who know where I do it. Believe me. Because no real man beat woman. And I will say it again. No real man beat woman. A woman strength to not have. And if the right man grab on no ball like baby because you can't fight.
True. Carla,
thank you so much for speaking out tonight. I do appreciate you speaking out tonight. You know? Because I want to
You're welcome.
I want to influence more women, and when you speak out, it shows other viewers who are listening, say, listen, I can build up the courage and speak as well. A lady contacted me the other day and she said, Mr. Unstoppable, I came across your program by accident the other day, and for years I have been holding in an abusive situation that happened to me. And I finally feel like now I can talk because I watch your show and I read your comments and I see that nobody bashes your listeners. And I feel comfortable to speak out now. I have never told my mother. I never told my father. I never tell a teacher. But I'm comfortable to talk to you and your viewers right now. So when people like you, Carla, share your experience, it comforts another female that is either going through this or has been through this. So I do appreciate you. And one thing I can say is, thank God you finally build up the courage to walk away and never look back.
Yeah,
Thank God for that. You know, I do really wish you did run sooner though.
For real.
I wish you did run sooner. But listen, at least you got away with your life. At least you got away with your life. You know? So Carla, I wish you all the best. And I know you say you have a part 2. And oh Lord, I wonder what part 2 is going to be about. But
give me a bit of time for that one.
We'll schedule the caller somewhere down the line because we have shows lined up back to back to back. So somewhere down the line we'll schedule the line to hear the caller to hear what part 2 is going to be about. So thank you once again and have a blessed night. We will keep in contact. All right.
Thank you very much. Thank you. God bless. Bye. Bye.
Unstoppable family, this has been another great conversation, another great show. And listen, you all have been great. On Facebook, on YouTube, you all have been great in the comment section. I sit here from night to night and I look at the comments. And yes, I may not read out everything. I pick out and I pick out and I pick out because obviously I can't do that. But I sit here and I acknowledge the comments. And you are all a great set of audience where you just follow the rules and you listen and you interact and you just love you. You understand? I just love you. You know? Because of the way you interact in the comment section respectfully. Now, I want to remind you that Yvonne, thank you. Yvonne says, Unstoppable, if she did run sooner, she wouldn't have a testimony. Well, listen, Yvonne, you may have a point, But Yvonne, at the end of the day, what's important is she run. You understand? I want to remind every single person that's here that everybody has a story. You have a story. I have a story. And even though I don't like to call it story, I like to call it experience because everybody's experience teaches wisdom, I don't like to call it mistake neither because it is not a mistake. You understand? Some people may say, I made a mistake. It is not a mistake because you learn something from it. So everybody has an experience. And your experience may help somebody to get out of a situation that they are presently in. Your experience may save a life. You may not know that your experience may save a life, but think about it. You may have went through something at some point, and you say, Unstoppable, I want to share my experience. And when you share your experience, somebody on this very same platform is listening who is in a very same situation that you went through and needed to hear your story to build up the courage to get out of that situation. You know? So if you have an experience, you should contact the Unstoppable Live team and let's schedule you for sharing your experience. It's 876-420-3368. And all you have to do is send a message to WhatsApp saying, Unstoppable, I would like to share. That's all you have to do. And we will handle the rest from there. Unstoppable, how much more a woman could take from these heartless guys? You tell me. Ah, boy. RJ, listen. women are out there taking a lot, you know. And that is why women need to stand up these days. And in fact, I like it that more and more women are standing up, as a matter of fact. I like it. You know, more and more women standing up for themselves these days. And decide, so we not take the abuse. We not do it. You know? But too much man out there abusing women these days. And this is not new. This is something we are going a long time. But it's time for it to stop. It's time for it to stop. When him lift your hand, you just lift up the pot. Grab the frying pan. One over the head. Plain and simple. Make him realize that now go work with me. Alright? Roseanne says, let's hear from the men. What them not have problems too. Roseanne, listen. That is something I have been saying from the very beginning of this show. That men need to start speaking out too. But Roseanne, the man them are play macho. I guess the man them afraid to let their voice be heard. You know, Roseanne? The man them afraid. That is why it is painting a bad image upon some man too. Because so many women speaking up that it would appear that man no go through things too. You understand? And it's just men do things to woman. But that is quite the contrary. That is not the case, you know. Woman do things to man too. But because the man them afraid for talk, the man them now speak up, that is why we're not hearing about it. And God knows, we need to hear from the man them. You know? Bunchy, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about, Bunchy. You understand? But as me say, when him rise him and you just rise the frying pan, one to the head. You understand? Viewers, let me tell you something. So Queen Rox is in the building tonight, and listen, we want to say congratulations to Queen Rox, because Queen Rox finally, after trying now for so long, has finally gotten approved by YouTube for monetization. So we want to say congrats to Queen Rox, right? And if you haven't connected with Queen Rox yet, go over there, man. Go give Queen Rox some support, you know. Make sure you make couple $1 after I want to come and watch couple of our video them. So Queen Rox is in the building. Just click on our channel and go over and subscribe and watch couple of our videos. You understand? Make sure you make couple $1 after. You know, all you have to do is just go watch couple of our videos them, because now she is monetized. Alright? So you know we are trying to support each other over here. So go over and show Queen Rox some real unstoppable love. Alright? Queen Rox, big up yourself. Now, feel like I've been talking way too long. So right now, I feel like a time for you to start march out. Alright? So, Unstoppable Officials, it is your time right now to start marching out. As long as you have your badge beside your name, as long as you know you're rocking the Unstoppable Official brand, start marching out right now. So the first one to march out on YouTube is none other than Lady B Unstoppable rocking a super VIP badge. And then marching out is Del Rose Holder rocking a super VIP badge as well. Alright, Tony Tough a march out with the newcomer badge. Natalia Grant is marching out with a super VIP, of course. And then we have who else marching out? Who else is marching out over here on YouTube? Facebook, we not reach over there yet. We not reach over there yet, Facebook. Janine Unstoppable is marching out as well. R.I.P. to Janine. Yes, of course. Alright. Kizzy Unstoppable is marching out with a super VIP badge beside her name, and she bossy with it. Haha, of course. Where the rest of the official them there march out. Jenny Unstoppable is marching out with a newcomer badge beside her name. Alright. Juliet Lewis means that she want to hold the tip boss position Uno notice how long Juliet sit down the Juliet said nobody now take this. One night, Natalia Grant says, see it here, me hold a position here straight until Wednesday night. And Natalia did. Alright. And Juliet Lewis has been sitting there for quite a while and nobody has moved. Juliet, so Juliet, big up yourself. Thank you so much for that contribution. Alright. Paulette Hyde is in the building. Blessings to you, Paulette. Let's see where the rest are official them there. Alright, I do say Lilika Unstoppable. I do say Jacqueline Chung. I do say Joy Blackwood. I do where are the officials? Start marching out, man. Come on. Alright, Maya Ellis is marching out with a golden VIP. Big up to Maya. Alright, Evelyn Garden in the building. Blessings. Dr. Mia Witter is rolling out as well. Blessings to you. Stush Pumpkin, exactly. Where the officials them there? I drop asleep. Talk to me. Tony Tough is rolling out with an... Oh, I said Tony Tough already. Oh, Tony... Anyway, I'm going to go over Facebook in the meantime. All right. Mark JDF is rolling out. Mark, me never see your name yet, Mark. Hold on, man. Mark say Unstoppable. What? Me scared of the JDF. What? Mark, JDF is rolling out with a newcomer badge. Alright, while I'm waiting on the rest of the officials on YouTube to march out, let's go over here on Facebook and see who's marching out. Alright, we got the Irie Data rolling out with a supporter badge over there on Facebook. And then we got none other than Lorraine Lala Linton, alright, rolling out as well. Alright, Marvelyn Briggs marching out over there on YouTube. Big up yourself, Marvelyn. Alright. Alright, why Lilika, I don't understand why me never can see her march out them, you know. You always say yeah march out, but I don't understand why. But anyways, Lilika is marching out with her newcomer badge. Alright, let's go now. Violet Simpson, big up yourself. Risa is here as well. Is marching out with a newcomer badge as well. Alright then, while I'm waiting, let's jump back over to Facebook. Charm, yeah, you gotta have things in a Charm. Last time, me see you say Unstoppable, me so get my badge Unstoppable. I'm waiting. Alright. Frashian is marching out even though she march out with flames and not the custom emoji. But Frashian is marching out with her newcomer badge as well. Alright. Let's see who else. Charm S is marching out with a newcomer badge as well. Alright, let's see over here now. Go on. Duyan Randolph is marching out. Michelle Suki Vernon. Alright, Lorian Lala. Marcia Bailey. Lucy Archibald. Big up yourself, Lucy. Alright, and then we got who else? Sharon Woolery. Alright. And who else is marching out over here? Jody Sims. Bless. Jody said me I officialize myself. Alright, who else am I missing over here? Donald Gardner is marching out, alright, with a newcomer badge as well. Alright, let's go. Marvelin say, you know how long more march out. Alright, big up yourself, Marvelin, marching out. Alright, there you go, Lilika. You know what, Lilika? You know what, I feel like you intentionally do this. Yeah, I feel like you intentionally do this, you know. Because you see it, now you march out the right way. Here are no people look. See it here, Unstoppable look. Now I see it. I want somebody tell me. You see Friday night, more wanna help me look if you see Lilika march out. Alright? If you see Lilika march out, say Unstoppable Lilika march out. Alright? Because I feel like she intentionally wait until me say, oh, me miss. And then she say Unstoppable march out already. Scarlet Knight is marching out with a #1 badge. Oh, you mean Scarlet? Rock it. You understand the way I say? See it then now. #1 fan badge. Alright. And then we have none other than Joanne Moore marching out with a golden VIP. And she has show off with it too, you see? Watch here. Darlene Walter Riley, I think I said that one there already. Marching out with a super VIP. Alright, who else? Alright, Dan Thompson, big up yourself. Alright, did I miss anybody else? Kizzy, go on your bed. Please go to bed, Kizzy. And leave me alone. I want to also big up Moodman, because I saw Moodman checking earlier. I know the Moodman a rocking badge as well. Alright. Judith says, how do I sign up? Alright, Judith, since you're on Facebook, right where you click to type, all you have to do is look right to the right of that where you see the emoji sign, the smiling emoji face. Click On the right of that, you're going to see a green heart. Click that and sign up to get your badge and become an official. All right? Yes. Lilika, what you mean by me? What that mean? Roseanne, big up yourself signing out, marching out as well with a new comer badge. Gary, yes, but you see all them thing here. Gary, sit down there and wait until me done, you know. Gary, sit down there and wait until me done before in just one march out, you know. I know when me know say Gary here when time I say officials, it's your time. And Gary say me sit back and wait until Unstoppable done. And me just march out like a boss. Me feel like that Gary and Lilika do. Me feel so. Althea Williams is marching out with a new cover badge. Alright, yes, Unstoppable, you did call my name, Desreen. You need to go get your badge. Alright, Desreen, yes, get your badge beside your name. But Desreen is marching out. Big up yourself, Desreen. Kashmir is here as well. Big up yourself, Kashmir, rolling out with hey newcomer badge. Oh, you mean? Let's see. If Lily cannot leave me alone, people, when you hear what Lilika say, you did not say me. What that mean? Keisha Highly Blessed is rolling out with a newcomer badge as well. Who me miss? I don't want miss nobody. I don't want miss no one. Let's see. Roseanne Brooks is marching out over here on Facebook. Let's go. Judith, I don't understand why that happening. Marcia, weird blessings to you. Watch Gary, boy. Yeah, man. Gary, I agree. Say, him sit down there and wait, you know. Boy, I tell you. Sean Castle, big up yourself, my general. Blessings. Glad you're here tonight. All right, marching out with a newcomer badge, of course. Did I miss anybody? This is the final ask. Did I miss anyone? All right, Cash Empress rolling out right now with her newcomer badge as well. Roseanne, how much time you want me call Roseanne Brooks? Roseanne, why you not leave me? Roseanne, why you don't leave me alone, Roseanne? Let me sleep peacefully tonight now, Roseanne. Don't make me go on my bed and go lay down and put my head on my pillow and say, Roseanne say me never call her name. Why you never call Roseanne name and stuff? Roseanne, make me sleep peaceful tonight. Cause how much more time you want me say Roseanne Brooks? Me say Roseanne Brooks on Facebook. Me say Roseanne Brooks on YouTube. Lord jeez. Flavia Austin is in the building. Big up yourself, Flavia. Glad to see you here as well. All right. Blessings to everybody who march out. All right. People, who would I believe say Lilika gone over Facebook, gone tell me say Unstoppable, you miss me? Who would I believe that? Who here would believe that Lilika Unstoppable gone over Facebook, gone tell me say Unstoppable, you missed me? People believe me, Lilika do that. Who don't think she right for that?
Feel the music, 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 move your waistline, high. I like dancing. You like dancing? Put my feet up high. And I don't want to go home. So turn the music up high. Feel the music, feel the music, move your waistline, move your shoulders, feel the music, move your waistline, move your shoulders.
Don Thompson just roll out and says, Unstoppable, I don't know why, how much time I roll out, you nah see it. Well, Don Thompson just march out rocking a golden VIP badge. Negrita Unstoppable is here. No one ever said Negrita earlier because I never seen Negrita march out. Lady Margaret is marching out. Blessings. Frashane is marching out. Where all these people was when I was doing the march out. But big up to everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as you know, could I say, I show off the merch them a while ago with the officials rocking. If you haven't gotten your merch,